rich as it was. I think Marvel movies, we expect them to be good, like Disney movies. Disney, 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 Disney. We expect them to be good because they have mastered formula and fantasy and put them together to kind of give all of us fans this modern versions of moral fables. I feel like Disney, Marvel, comic book movies are some of the only films out there that don't mind having a moral story with a moral ending and kind of telling people what you should think is good, what you should think is bad. And what I thought about in terms of Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man, 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 Spider-Man. I thought to myself, this is the story of what the collective is going through right now, which is why it's one of my favorite films. Oh, that Marvel's ever done, even my favorite. I'm just shocked. It's my favorite, 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 favorite. Because I feel a really good movie speaks to what the collective is going through. And Peter is asking himself, what is the point of doing good? Why do I always do the right thing even though I lose? What do you actually gain from doing right? Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Breathe out, 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 breathe out. And I don't know, this is my third eye flower, you know, you love it with some calcite. You know, I'm using this to open your third eye, your intuition. Because I feel like part of what doing the right thing is, it's like there's this code inside you, embedded inside you, and I'm going to be reviewing The Matrix soon, so watch out for that. And it says, this is good. Just follow it. And it doesn't measure life according to winning or losing. It measures it according to the honor of knowing you are good. You are good to others. You are good unto yourself. You love, and thus you are loving, and you are love. And it's really hard as human beings to understand that concept. I'm good to be good. It kind of feels like, you know, what does that mean? Why am I good if I don't get better? But maybe that's what trips us up. We define better materially. And part of what gets Peter in trouble is the world finds out that he is Spider-Man. And they are mourning Mysterio. And they are thinking that he killed them, that he, you know, they're divided. Is he a hero? Is he a saint? Is he a villain? Is he evil? And J.K. Simmons plays J. Jonah Jameson as only he can. And the question is, you know, he's kind of like this InfoWars character, very propaganda, which he always was, but it's kind of eerie how you kind of see like those those websites and those channels. Like, he embodies it all, even with the green backdrop. And the world, just rains down on him, asking for more, treating him like the least. And his friends begin to pay for it. Jacob Batalon's Ned, Zendaya's MJ. And he goes to Doctor Strange, asking for help. Help, 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 help. Because they're starting to pay materially. They're getting chased. They're losing opportunities. Opportunities, 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 opportunities. Opportunities, 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 opportunities. And there's just this feeling of, how could I be losing if I do the right thing? How can people think I'm bad when I save them? And I feel like in this post-COVID world, a lot of us feel like that. Like COVID hit and before we were just trying to make it, do our best. COVID hit and suddenly the best wasn't good enough. Our best was redefined, and now life is kind of getting back to normal, and we just think to ourselves, I survived, but did I actually get the chance to live? Like, we're going back into our old habits and old behaviors, and I've changed. I can't be the same, and I think that's why I saw this film as a rebirth. Because there's something that Spider-Man always does, and it's not just the right thing, but he always wants everything to go right. And when you're a good person that wants to be a better person, you'll understand that doing the right thing, I'm just going to draw above your aura some Reiki symbols. Picture them raining down on you like light, just light raining into you. And how do I explain it? When you're a good person, doing the right thing, to be better, you understand that doing the right thing does not necessarily mean everything goes right. Doesn't mean everything goes right for the people you're trying to save. Doesn't mean everything goes right for you. And perhaps because we define the right thing as going according to plan, we don't understand that doing good isn't about winning, which is why the film, oh my God, this film is so tragic. It is one of the most, it's not only my favorite Marvel film, I'm saying it really is, it's one of the most tragic Marvel films I've ever seen. And that's right up there with Avengers Endgame. And ironically, what I felt with both is, fluffing your aura, fluffing your aura. What I felt with both is that at the end of the movie, there's this feeling at Endgame and in Spider-Man No Way Home, like, how are we going to recoup from this? How are we're like, this is a blank slate. Like, nothing will ever be the same. I don't even know if I will see some of these characters again. I mean, I'll obviously see Peter. But when, who, what, where, how? It's like he loses everything. And you see that in the trailers, but when you see the movie, I mean, you're going to know. And that's what's so sad. When we think of being reborn, we think of how exciting it is to get new life, but think of it like you're in a womb. Your old life is a womb. And whether you like it or not, you were safe there. There was comfort even in its pain. And rebirth comes the birth pangs, comes the pushing, comes this feeling of, wait a minute, I'm about to, wow, I'm about to leave what I know. And it made me think to myself, is that what being a good person is? Or like, is that what being better means? Does it mean sacrificing what I know to gain myself, more of myself in the unknown? Because by the end of this film, you're like, Peter is a man. Peter is a grown human being. Peter Parker will be an adult. You'll even see it in his demeanor. And it's terrifying and peaceful all at once because you're so scared for him at the end of this film. But you're also hopeful. And this is labradorite. Tap, swoosh. And I think about that a lot. It made me cry. I cried like 25 times in this film. I laughed 45, so good. You know, like I cheered a lot. But I want to transform. I want to be a better person, and I want to have better. I want to do better. And I know you do too. And what's so scary about that, about actually meaning that, is that with great power comes great responsibility. You want to be the powerful version of you. Life is going to throw you a gauntlet and say, well, okay, you want to be powerful? You want to be that better version? Okay, let me see if you can handle it. I'm going to take what you know to see if in the unknown you'll actually know about yourself. You'll actually know more. You'll actually do better. It's going to be really hard to be powerful because you're not asking me simply to be powerful. You're asking me to be empowered. You're asking me to be happy. But you've defined happiness materially. You've defined it, Peter Parker, as getting into college, as having, your girlfriend get in with you and your best friend and you room together. You've defined it as people liking you and thanking you for what you do for them. You've defined it as following your Aunt May, even if it means not following yourself. You don't know who you are beyond the people that you're with. And it seems so weird because it's how we love people that defines us, right? And what I think this film showed me, it's how we love ourselves that defines us. It's how we love ourselves that defines how we love people. It's how we love ourselves that defines how we let ourselves be loved, love back, and learn how to let go of love so that it could love further. No beginning comes without an end. Beginnings, 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 beginnings. And in that statement, no beginning comes without an end. I think that's when the villains enter. He goes to Doctor Strange. The spell goes wrong because he has too many buts, kind of like what I'm saying. He has too many requirements for change. He's asking the universe, change my life back to what it was rather than working with what he has to make something more, something new. He's not the first superhero to be known in his true identity, but it's like he wants magic to happen. He wants magic to resolve it. And there's even this joke between him and Doctor Strange, like, you couldn't just like call somebody, you couldn't just, try as a person. You had to call on the universe without ever seeing yourself as a part of it. It's so important during Reiki to hydrate. I forget sometimes because I get so excited by the energy. And this movie kept me energized. And so the spell goes wrong. and all these old villains appear. And I kept on thinking, like, you know what impressed me about this film was it really is about mental health and how our relationship to power, 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 in defining it as more, we never feel empowered, because to feel empowered is to feel enough. You have enough, you are enough, you do enough, you receive enough, you give enough. Power is all about the more. And Peter, in an odd way, his humility comes in realizing, in realizing that his connection to these villains is that they all want more. They all have requirements. They won't be better to themselves or better people until life gives them what they want in the packaging they want. They're obviously more extreme. They want to throw away their very souls because they can't get what they want. But I think what I loved about Peter and Aunt May in their attempts to save these villains, to kind of make them see the light, because, you know, Doctor Strange, what I loved about him was that he was this weird hero villain in this version. He was, you know, all about duty. And he kind of sees Peter's optimism as you're just a child. It's not childlike, your optimism, it's that you're a child. And by the end of the film, you see him respect him, because the whole film is kind of realizing that optimism is an adult feeling. Optimism shouldn't be a child feeling. It should be childlike, but every adult should have hope. And a true adult knows how to keep it. A true adult knows how to be hopeful consistently, how to be good consistently, how to be at peace consistently. That's why they're able to give it. That's why they don't lose it. That's why they don't feel fragile. That's why they don't fight being reborn. Because they're always being reborn. They are life. If you have peace, you have life. Peace, 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 peace. I'm using amber. And amber's one of my favorite stones. Actually, I know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use this albacore with topaz. And with every drop, you're going to feel like gold is dropping into you. Topaz is really good for abundance. And this film makes you see that abundance is love. The love you are lucky to have. The love that you remember even as it is lost. And the love you open yourself to even after that loss. And these villains are lost. And I never saw mental illness or connection, you know, like depression, as your ego taking over your mind to make you feel like you'll never be enough. To make you feel like you need to have more and you need to have control over others in order to avoid and distract and deny that you can't control yourself. You can't control your life. You feel out of control. Jamie Foxx as Electro broke my heart, because we know that he's sad in the Amazing Spider-Man films. But it was like, no, he's depressed. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin has a surprisingly heavier role. And you're like, this man he has multiple personality disorder. He suffers from schizophrenic tendencies and even suicidal ideation. That's a lot to carry. Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is wonderful, so sweet. And you forget that he kind of lost his mind over a bad science experiment. And it was an experiment to help others. And I think that what differentiates the reason I call Doctor Strange a hero villain, in a sense, is that he saves people because it's his duty. It's the right thing to do. But Peter saves people because he believes in them. It's the good thing to do. He has faith in people. He believes that they should be saved, that they should have a second chance, that they should go out for their dreams, that they should be better people, that they should be loved, that they should go out for love because they're human beings. And maybe that's, I'm having an epiphany. Maybe that's the difference between doing the right thing and doing a good thing. Everyone is tired of doing the right thing because they don't feel like they're doing good things. And when you're a good person, you realize good things are just about choosing love, choosing peace, finding honor in that choice, finding peace with yourself, and knowing you fought for the peace of others. It was such a virtuous film, really virtuous. Like, I did not expect it to be so deep. And as he tries to, save these villains, fight these villains, figure out how he's a villain. Because again, when you do good things and everything still goes bad, you feel like more than a loser. It's funny, like the film jokes about how, being Peter Parker is literally being a walking existential crisis. And perhaps because we enter the multiverse, we almost forget that in the other Spider-Mans, there was almost a glazing of just how traumatized Peter Parker is and superheroes are in general. And I say it in my Hawkeye review, which is coming out. I say how what I felt phase 2 will be about is, if phase 1 was about team building, phase 2 is about how you build yourself after losing your team. Phase 1 is about building a team, the rough patches of building a team. Phase 2 is about the rough patches of building yourself after losing your team. After losing the people who you love and love you. Your team, your literal team, and your family, your friends, they're your team too. The people that you can call upon and will show up. That's your team. Your team. You have a team and you don't even realize it. And that's kind of the sad tragedy of this film. Peter realizes his team. And he realizes the dignity of doing the right thing is that you do good. You do good. It's so complex because it's so simple. He steps up and he embraces his goodness. And I cried. And I felt like the film did very well in kind of, I think often, maybe because we entered the multiverse, often the Peter Parkers, the Spider-Mans are compared. And I felt like this film did very well in kind of saying, you know what? There's no comparison. They were all good for their time. Tobey Maguire was excellent in the 2000s. He just totally fit that era. Andrew Garfield was magnificent in the 2010s. He totally fit that era. And Tom Holland is excellent in the 2020s. It's like everybody fit their purpose. And that hit me. You know, we live in a world, like I said, where, you know, there's a difference between doing good and doing right. You shouldn't feel forced to do right. You should do good because you are good. And because you are good, you should feel good. And we live in a world of comparisons, always saying this one's better, this one's better, this one has to be better. And what I felt was so great about this film is that it just took away that narrative. That narrative is the key to unhappiness. Oh, it should be better. We should have more. That's why those villains are depressed. That's why they lose their mind and in turn let go of their soul and lose their heart. And that's Peter's struggle. That's what he feels he should do. He should lose his mind. He should lose his heart. Because he confuses better for more. He confuses better for happiness that's outside of him when it's always within. Happiness is 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 within. It's the joy you feel when MJ looks at you, Peter. It's the joy you feel when you laugh with Ned. It's not about going to MIT and having, you know, the best friend trio rule over the scientific department. But this was such a good film. I cannot reiterate enough. I mean, it was never gonna fail in visuals. It was never gonna fail in visuals. Just fluffing your aura for the final cord cutting. I just didn't expect it to be so virtuous. I didn't expect it to be so bold in storylines. I love that, you know, this film is going to impress fans, not only in terms of aesthetics and stories, but like in our ability to theorize. Like, we really are amazing. We know things. We catch on. We investigate. We're awesome. And I like that it was kind of like, you guys thought this, but there's also this, and look at that. Surprise. Like, I love that. Yeah, I went in like, yep. Did it again, Marvel. Gotcha. Because, like, I think as Marvel fans, one of the funnest things about being a Marvel fan is this feeling of, like, kind of becoming true crime detectives over comic book storylines. And it's really hard to kind of surprise us. I felt like with WandaVision, the surprise was like, no, there's no Magneto or Mephisto. Sorry. And here it's kind of like, you're just not going to expect anything. Like, some things you're like, yeah. But then other things you're like, what? You guys went there? Like, I knew you would go certain places, but this was like not on my radar. Wow. And that made the film worth it alone. Just cutting all the negative energy from right here. Right here is where, you know, they say that's where the Holy Spirit and light enters and the universe and our connection. And I guess that's kind of what I was saying with Peter, you know. You ask of the universe to give you, but you are the universe. And when you're asking outside of you to gain, it's because you're not giving to yourself. And it's such a hard, I think what makes us pity Peter and what made me walk out of this film kind of being reminded that since the early 2000s, Peter Parker has been kind of the heart of superhero films. Tobey's version, Andrew's version, and now Tom Holland's version. They each and every one of them was really, I don't know, like they just reflected the humanity of the times, but also kind of are like this heartbeat for all superhero films because we liked them. They were teens trying to be better. And I think that Tom Holland's Peter Parker reflects compassion and empathy, which was so different. Not that the other Peters weren't like that, they were all good human beings. But there's a real softness to Tom Holland's Peter Parker that you feel in this film. Like he can't give up on people. And it's such a sad, hard lesson to learn that that's a good quality. And that's what you feel in this film. Like, forever crushed he is, forever much he just wants to, oh, you know, oh. By the end of the film, he realizes that his good heart is something to cherish. It's good to have a good heart. Oh, I'm going to get sentimental again. I really cried. It's just so hard, isn't it? I feel like anybody who does Reiki um, is kind of like me in a way, just trying to have peace with the fact that there's no peace. That there's no peace around them, and thus they must have peace within them to kind of emanate. It's like life is something within you, and you emanate it out. Life, 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 life. Give me life, give me life, give me life. And I don't know, we forget that. We forget that. So I'm going to pick some stones that I love. Ooh, I love some of these stones. As we close off this Reiki session, I think I did I want to go up to 40 minutes, maybe 45. I want this to be a long session because this is about rebirth. And rebirths are, I don't know, they're like short, long things. Because the thing about a rebirth, and this is where I really like this film, if you don't actually let the new you be born, is malachite. This is a perfect stone for protection of your abundance. Okay? One of my favorites, one of the most powerful. It's a powerful manifesting stone in part because, green and its energy, but it's kind of like if you get a malachite stone, usually it attracts people who are on the cusp of their rebirth. And it's kind of saying like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for that abundance because I believe I'm abundant. And I don't know, the thing about a rebirth is that if you don't actually accept you're being reborn, that you're going into this new chapter, you'll have to repeat the old one. Oh my God. Yikes. It's like kind of you were about to leave the womb because everybody leaves the womb after 9 months, at 9 months. And you're like, no, I think I'll say it 11 months. And it's like, no, 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 no. That's not how it works. Actually, I'm going to throw in some rose quartz for love, for self-love, to connect with the universal love before I show you some of my. Because, man, I mean, it's so hard. And you almost forgot just how much. I compared it to Hawkeye and how that TV show is about trauma, and WandaVision was about grief. Loki was about and very similarly, Spider-Man No Way Home is very much about fate and redemption and what it means to get a second chance and whether you should give it, who should give it, who should get it. Because like I said, or I believe I said, what fascinated me about Peter's heart is that he kind of you don't give up on people because they're harder to save. I never thought of it like that. Good people deserve to be saved, even if it's hard. You're a good person and you deserve to be saved. And what Reiki has taught me is that the universe wants to save you, wants to heal you because you are a part of her. That's what we're all, just energy. And it can't stop. You know, the universe can't stop being the universe. You can't stop being energy. But you can stop being the universe once you stop seeing yourself as it. And yet it will always try to pop up in. Like, I'm sure you've seen yourself repeat patterns, repeat behaviors, repeat choices, repeat reactions. And even though your soul is tired and telling you, why do you pick the same partner? Why do you pick the same jobs? Why do you pick, well, don't you realize you always land with the same type of friends? Or you always, you always react badly to bad things, and yet you cry that you want peace. And the universe is your Peter Parker. And it's saying, no, I'm still here. I still want you. I still want you because you're part of me. You are you, and I want you to be the best version of you. Why wouldn't I want that? Yeah, I challenge you, but I prosper you too. And you can't feel like I'm prospering you because you only see that I challenge you. But I challenge you to prosper you. Peter Parker's a good person who is always challenged to do better and be better, and that's why we love him. Picture Jasper, so you could have visions, so you can see that you are good and you are better because you are enough. And I don't know, I loved that. I loved that message. It moved me because that's what people need right now. They need that. And like I said, with Hawkeye and trauma and WandaVision and grief and even all the old Spiderman movies and just seeing this multiverse and the villains and all that, I almost forgot how much Peter Parker as an individual has been through, how much these superheroes have been through, how much they've lost because we think they're superhuman. And we just meet them in the next movie and they're back again despite losing Uncle Ben, despite, I'm sure it's even traumatizing getting bit by a spider and having superpowers, despite losing Gwen, despite losing Harry, despite losing, I'm naming like all the other Spider-Man films that, Peter Parker's just always been struggling. Superheroes have always been struggling. Thor, Loki. That's brothers that just can't. It's like as you saw with Loki, this destiny to never be able to love your brother and have your brother love you. What? WandaVision. She let go of everything. All she ever wanted was a family. She finally manifested it, and it was lost. She had to let it go to do the right thing, to do a good thing. I don't know, it made me think of comic book movies in general and what they teach me and what they've taught me ever since I was a kid. Because comic books were always escapism for me. This is Aquamarine for Travels. This is Pranite, again for Vision. Because Lord knows he's traveling through that multiverse. And you want him to. Because this movie it's kind of like, yeah, Peter Parker is a hero we would all want to be. We would all want to save us. Because he wouldn't give up on us. And he wouldn't give up on us because he believed in us, not because it was his duty. And that difference, it's kind of like the difference between somebody saying I love you because they feel forced to versus someone who says I love you genuinely. Like, it's just like, it does feel nicer. Those words, they are the most powerful words in the world. But when someone means it, that's the universe. Ah, I love us. I love us. I love us. I love us. Did I reach an hour? No. Okay. I gotta put a long review. But check out theandrewreviewsitall.com for my written reviews. Please subscribe for more ASMR Reiki reviews. I have so many good ones coming up. I'm doing music. I'm doing life coaching because I'm certified. As a Reiki master and a life coach, which is like, why not? Why not? Why not life coach too? Life.